Hi, everyone, and welcome to the DocuSign e-signature program. My name is Herbert, and I'll be giving you a demo of the process of sending, signing, and managing. Today, we'll be walking through the 4 phases of the Agreement Cloud, starting with the prepare phase, and then moving through the sign, act, and manage phases for our company, Close Enough Accounting. What we'll be going through today, we're going to go through and see how the process looks through the eyes of our call center rep who have just spoken to our clients, our 2 clients, our applicant, our co-applicant, and then we'll also be taking a look or seeing the process by which our 2 other individuals, our credit assessor and our legal department representative, would handle associated documents for our client or our overall company of Close Enough Accounting. Then we'll pivot to the perspective of the DocuSign administrator as far as setting up documents, managing our templates, and of course going into particular settings to customize individual documents that would be sent out to either individual customers, multiple clients, can be really tailored for many different applications. Well, let's start. As you can see, we're on the home page right here. Our rep would go through as far as our templates. They would be able to create a new one if need be, or they would select, they could upload a possible template, or they could create one as well. We have one here, which I'll go through briefly. As far as could be edited for the user's needs. I'll just go through real quick as far as what would be done. First off, you would set a signing order. You can see the 1 right here. Our 2 applicants, 1 and 2, would not matter who signs first. It's meant so that there's no delay in that process. 2 then would be our credit assessor. They would be going through and checking the 2 documents to make sure they are filled out, and then they would sign off on that. Finally, our 4th individual, be our representative from the legal department. They would receive a copy. They do not need to sign, but they would still be getting a copy to go through to make sure the other 3 people have signed as far as having that for the Close Enough Accounting's business records. Further down here, you can see the email subject, and the email message can be customized. I'll go into a little more in depth here as far as individuals are concerned. Applicant 1, we're going to verify their identity through an authentication code, which we have set up as QWERT and is required. Our 2nd individual will have a phone call, basically with an authentication code for them as well. Our other 2 won't need it because they've already been verified by Close Enough Accounting. In our email body, you can see as far as the 2 documents that are required for each individual. And further adjustments can be set up, but we'll go into that a little bit later. You can go save and close if you want through here and be done as far as your individuals. You could go off and send it. So again, do one final check to make sure everybody is set up. And in there, of course, we have our 2 forms of authentication for our individuals, and we would send it. And it would you would see a little message saying it was sent. Through here, we'll go into our individuals. I've already sent one, so we can see another one. For here, there we go. I avoided the last one. They would see the Close Enough Accounting logo up here. The colors here can be changed, which I can show later on. But so for here, Megan would have to put in her access code, which can be shown. Validate. Checks out. Let's review the documents below. All right, so you would start with applicant name. Phone number required. Has to be in a form of a phone number format right here, which if I scroll up, otherwise it won't validate. And phone number, or I'm sorry, social security number would be a form of a social security number. Annual income. And then as far as identification goes, the 2 are required. They can put at least 2 are required of the 3 here. So they would check off. Normally we would do a driver's license, passport, or other form of ID. For this demo, we're just going to use general photos. And I have set it so only one file can be uploaded per attachment, which I can go in later on too. So there's multiple stuff in the back end that we can show them. They can delete if they want, but no other files can be uploaded. Done. And the next required attachment. See it load here a little bit, and done. Moving on, for their asset description, at least one asset description is required with one value. There are optional values that can be added up to 4 more. So we'll just put there, say house, and we'll just assign a value. And then the total of all the values will be shown down here. Click on missing a 0. There we go. And then they would sign right here as well, which it will show up right there, which can be changed as far as if they want to set up a different one. Billing address. And 2, for the billing address, you can see it is required, but if they check right here, it just says that it's the same as mailing address. No further billing address is required. Retype their social security number and their annual income, and then signature as well. And you can see the social security number and annual income is asterisked out. You can see the 2 attachments, and they would hit finish. And then a copy has been saved, and they could log in if they wanted to. And they're all done. Next, we go on to our second individual who needs to sign. They would review their documents. And again, for them, they have the voice authentication. So then the code would be sent to them.
Hello. Thank you for using our phone verification system. Your code is 97447. Once again, your code is 9.
Put in their code. And they can continue on. So 2 forms of identification as far as validating their identity before they even receive the documents. So put in their name. social security number. Just like the first applicant, they'll have similar information required. 2 forms of ID. Again, they have only one attachment per, or one file per attachment. Load their second file. And again, too, asset description. So they have a house as well. It's pretty nice. Computes their total down here, and they will sign. Moving on to the next one. And their annual income. The previous applicant has some of their information, but not all. Important items like social security number and annual income are not listed. They're asterisked out, and they would sign. Same for the co-applicant. Oh, and I have an error here because I have an extra number. And I can see my 2 attachments and finish. And they have the same option of reviewing the document as well. And they're all done. Next, we would move on to our other representative for the company. They would review their documents. And they would agree to the electronic records and signatures. Continue. They can see here items have been filled out. So it looks like the first applicant, they are good to go. So they would sign off, adopt and initial. And moving on, they can review the second individual as well. They have a house, 2 attachments, the value of the house, and they have signed. And finally, the joint credit application. Both individuals have both signed and filled in their information. And then finish up. So once our credit assessor has reviewed, they can also save a copy. And done. Next, we would move on to our legal representative. And they would be able to view the completed documents, along with the attachments as well. So you can see that they have signed and also that the credit assessor has signed. There are the documents as far as the attachments go. And done. Now going back to our DocuSign, we'd kind of pivot here and go and look at the role as far as say an admin would be concerned. So as far as your templates, you wanted to create a new one. First off, you would start with your document, and you would start off with a, say for this one, the joint credit application, you have tags you can put in right here. As far as for under your name, you would put in, I use the tag A1 N for applicant 1 name, A1P for applicant 1 phone, and so on. Once you're done, you would normally put these in white to hide those tags like that, so you wouldn't actually see them. And you would upload this document. What this does is auto place those tags. So further down or further along, we'd be able to place some tags directly onto our credit app. So we use this one right here. We'll go through, be able to edit it. This is where your documents would be uploaded. And of course, you can change, like I mentioned before, the signing order. You can customize further through here. You have the access code, which you could change, require an access code for every recipient, or you could change if you want the first one to be a phone number versus being called for the second person, and so on. Then you would go on to next if you want. Down here, advanced options. If you wanted to, you could allow recipients to change signing responsibility. Generally not, but it depends on the company and what would be needed. All right, so for the first applicant, which would be displayed through the different colors up here, and you could edit them so you kind of know where to place your appropriate fields. You would have a text box for, say, like their name. What we changed was their phone was right here. It's auto-placed, so for applicant 1, you know they have a phone there, and they have to put a phone right here. Over here, you can make it required. Another fun feature which I actually learned later on, which really helped for the value fields and the asset description, is you can align this, if need be, by using, further down here, you could use boxes for some of these individual items. So say like value right here, if you wanted, you can go through, you can move this. So if it's off like that, you can then auto align these with this right here. So you can touch that up if need be. Back to our phone here. We did change it. It was a custom item. So you go over to custom fields. And I have many in here, which you would change then further in settings to make the formatting, the validation. It was custom. There's regex pattern and the error message. So it must be in the format of a phone number. Text, as far as being associated with your social security number, same thing. The formatting, not formatting, the validation was in the format of the social security number. And then with the other items here, I grouped my buttons. So they're formatted right here. And then I have my asset description. So for this one, we can go over initial logic and permissions. Other items can be changed here. I have my formula here set up to kind of go through to add up all these totals right here. And then if you need to, you can also change, go into your second applicant, their fields that would need to be added through here. And then finally your third person. If you need to add more, they only had a signature and a date with some initials right here. And then you hit save and close, and you'd be ready to go. So I'll go back up here. You could do a recipient preview if you want to look and see kind of who, how it would look via their computer. So like we saw before, this is their view once they open up their email. And you can also change it too. And where they would sign. All right, now you go on to manage and you go down to completed. So you've done several of these and you have your completed docs down here. You can see the access code, the phone number, signed. You can see the signing order if you wanted, which this is a fairly basic document, but they can be very, or get much more complicated. And you can even download too a copy. So from here, you'd have your certificate of completion, document all 8 of them, and your files. You'd hit download, you'd have them saved. As far as if you need it for any other reviewing. Oops, probably because I'm recording right now. I can't show that just yet, but that is where you'd go to download it or print it off. And then we'll go into the template itself next. And just kind of review if you wanted. If you need to change it, again, you can have a new one, shared, favorites, all of that. All right, back, or you would change it and go into settings for any other information you want to change or customize. All right, so through this, I have sending settings. I have document visibility, must sign view, which could be changed, could be turned off. You can see different ones right here. Different document sources, which you can go into connect if you wanted. I have Dropbox set up. You can set up other ones as well too. Let's see here. Sending settings. And I believe I have the other one as far as going up to brands. So I have the CEA logo right here. You could add a different brand if you wanted to. That can be basically customized, be edited as far as if you wanted to. You can change the date, as far as delivery goes, attach documents, completion email, suppress emails, to embedded signers. There are those options built into it. There are security settings. There's a myriad of settings right here if you wanted to change anything. Big one would be document custom fields. So I have a bunch of these. One I was going to go into and explain a little bit more. We see like applicant phone number. You change the name right here, text type, and then down here, I was able to find regular expression. This is where I have my error message. Must be in the format of a phone number. All right, here's our certificate of completion. Once it is downloaded, I did a little error there and share my screen. You can see the signatures, the initials, and you can kind of see here as far as the applicable information. Let's see here, it was accepted, there's timestamps, and then who was copied in on it too, our legal rep. So this is what can be downloaded. And I'll go back now. All right, and finally we can go into our reports here. And I've done, sent several of these practice envelopes out What is neat here as far as you can kind of see your overview, as far as your contribution, you can kind of see your envelope velocity, volume, obviously today, completion rate, what's out there. Kind of look at all right here, envelope reports. You can do a view here. You can also change as far as if you wanted to, you could run the report. And you can see here what it was voided, what was completed. You can edit the columns if you want to change anything. So if you want completed time, number of signers, expired on, you have many options here. And yes, that's about what I have to show for now. Thank you again, and I look forward to sending this out.